Helen Richardson. Good afternoon. The City of Durham's MP says a multi-million-pound hotel, cinema and residential development in the city cannot afford to be closed any longer or cost any more jobs. The Milburn Gate Leisure Complex was originally due to open in 2022, but after the developer behind it collapsed and issues with fire safety emerged, it has for years sat almost finished. Now, campaigners are urging the Reform-led council to push ahead with the previous administration's plans to acquire it, as Jim Scott explains.
It took less time to build Dubai's Burj Khalifa than it's done getting Durham's Milburn Gate from foundation to an almost finished development. A 92-bed hotel, 153 student flats, office space and even a cinema have sat empty on the site of the former passport office for years.
It's completely ridiculous. I mean, actually was open it was ready to go. It had bookings for when the graduations were taking places a few years ago. It was going to create over 1,000 permanent jobs, and those jobs would have been employing local people from the city of Durham and all around County Durham. So whilst the place isn't open, that's 1,000 jobs in a place where we desperately need jobs that aren't going to happen.
We were previously given access to the development where we found a cinema with everything except customers. Well, it's been a year since we were last here, and inside nothing's really changed. The lights are still on at the cinema, and inside the Premier Inn over there, the beds have been made, but this situation goes far deeper. It had already faced delays. Then the Gateshead-based developer behind the project, Helen, collapsed. Shortly after, issues over fire safety emerged. Then things stalled. Eventually, the coalition-led council suggested buying it last year, but that decision was put under review after Reform took control of the authority.
It was a flagship development worth £120 million of private sector money. And what the public see now is a development that looks as if it's ready to go, but it's just not open for business.
Every day it's not open is a missed opportunity, says Paul.
It could have a huge impact. The residential, the office space, the leisure and hospitality all coming together. Having people living in the city centre is always a bonus. Having the office space, which we're very short of in Durham City, is a real big bonus. It's been going on for far too long, yeah, so we need some clarification on what's happening next with Milburn Gate development.
You see when you come off the train or you come down to visit the rest of this beautiful area, you see that development and not open. It'll bring in tourists, it'll bring in jobs. I mean, it's really up to the council to do something about it. We need it more than ever for this economy.
It seems the development could well be freed if the Reform-led authority strikes a deal. But while the big names on the buildings remain, those here hope something happens and signs like this do indeed come true. Jim Scott, BBC Look North, Durham.
Well, Durham County Council says it understands that people are keen to see Milburn Gate progress, but adds a private developer is responsible for completing it, not the council. It says it's still in discussions with the development's funder and a decision is expected shortly. An inquest into the death of the former Middlesbrough coach Gordon McQueen has concluded it was likely that repetitive head impacts from playing football contributed to a brain condition. The former defender, who was 70, passed away at his home in North Yorkshire in 2023. Today, a coroner ruled he died from pneumonia as a result of mixed vascular dementia and CTE. A murder investigation is continuing after a woman died after a suspected assault on North Tyneside. Emergency services were called to Russell Street and North Shields on Saturday night after reports of an altercation. The woman in her 40s had sustained a serious injury and died in hospital a short time later. A man in his teens has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Now, primary school pupil numbers are declining faster in the northeast than in any other part of the country, and the falling birth rate is a big challenge when it comes to keeping schools open. On North Tyneside, the local authority has announced a number of school closures and mergers due to falling pupil numbers. Damien O'Neill reports.
2 weeks ago, Hazelwood Primary School in Wide Open was left reeling after it was confirmed that their school would close and be merged with nearby Greenfields Primary. But the head teacher had not been sitting idle. and was already in discussions to avoid closure by joining an academy trust.
Ultimately, this is the way forward for me. And I'm not just looking at keeping the school here. I'm talking the long-term vision for the school and for the community. And it's something that I'm really interested in to follow up.
But North Tyneside Council says the decisions it's recently taken on a number of school closures and mergers are a reflection of some harsh financial realities.
The underlying challenge is that in the borough, the birth rate has been falling for the last 6 or 7 years, and indeed now there's about 300 fewer children coming in at our schools than there was 6, 7 years ago.
The North East has the highest projected fall in primary school pupil numbers in the country between now and 2029. Within that statistic are individual boroughs that show serious declines in the number of new pupils, which has quite profound knock-on effects for the financial health of the whole region.
Schools are funded by the Department for Education, via the Treasury, so the money comes nationally and it comes on the basis of pupil numbers. So that's the really serious implication for the North East. If pupil numbers drop so significantly, then the amount of money going into North East schools will drop massively in a very short time.
With projections like this, there may be plenty of head teachers and parents who are wondering if their school will still be open as the decade comes to a close.
Now, an 11-year-old boy from Darlington has a novel way of getting to his school. Alfie picked up a second-hand unicycle from Facebook after trying a single-wheeler on a whim and deciding he wanted to learn how to ride it properly. Over the course of a weekend, in hour-long sessions, he practised, fell off, practised again, and fell some more until he finally got the knack.
I'm Alfie and I ride a unicycle to school. I mean, I make it look easy, and I kind of feel like it's easy, but I know it's really not. If you keep him going forward, then you'll be fine. So I don't know if you saw, it was really hard for me to get going, but once I'm going, I can go for a while until my legs die. Because you have bumps in the curve, potholes and whatever, and it's just trying to keep your balance while going over that. I'm just trying to ride from a tree to a dog poo bin, and got further and further, made it to my grandparents' house, and then I made it to school. It's not too far, I mean, it's about a 20-minute walk. It's probably more 10-15 minutes when on a unicycle though. Commuting on it's fine. I have other plans for life. Just like my bike, but it's a unicycle. I'm just happy that some people appreciate it.
Rather him than me. Right, time to check the weather now. Here's Lisa Gallagher.
Good afternoon. Well, we have seen a fair amount of cloud so far today, and we will keep that cloud throughout the rest of this afternoon. Mainly dry, but we have seen a few showers, and we will continue to do so across parts of the northeast, across Northumberland. Cumbria, I think, enjoying the best of the dry weather. Still a fair amount of cloud, maybe a little bit of brightness at times. Moderate to fresh southeasterly winds and temperatures below average for the time of year, 4 to maybe 6 degrees. Now, through this evening, we'll keep a lot of cloud. There'll be showery bits and pieces of rain, some hill snow affecting the fells and the Pennines. And then as we head towards dawn, we will see this turning heavier and more persistent. At the same time, the winds will also strengthen, becoming very strong and gusty by the end of the night. Lowest temperatures for the northeast, around 3 or 4 degrees, but I think we could see that temperature dropping down to freezing across parts of Cumbria. So a very windy start to the day tomorrow, winds gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour, and we'll be seeing persistent rain and hill snow. So that snow affecting the fells, the tops of the Pennines. It will continue on into the afternoon. It's only really Cumbria will start to see an improvement, but still there is a risk of 1 or 2 showers, and that rain remains persistent across the northeast through until the end of the afternoon. Very windy and temperatures around about 5 to maybe 7 degrees. Wednesday is going to bring us a brighter day. The winds will also be lighter. We're going to see variable amounts of cloud, means we'll see some sunshine at times and a little bit milder as well. Temperatures around 7 or 8 degrees, but it doesn't last. Cloudier with further rain for Thursday.
Thanks, Lisa. That's all from us for now. Carol will be here with Look North at 6:30. For now, I'll hand you back to Nina Warhurst and the BBC News at 1.